what I want to do is more or less cover our product today, some of the tools we have available for everyone as far as sharing this with clients and selling it. We'll discuss kind of our pricing model, how that's different from anything else out there, and then also just answer your questions and just give you a nice overview in general. So first thing is, I know I've talked with Lon in the past, I've talked with Joe in the past, but we're really excited. We seem to be gaining some nice traction up there, and I think you all agree this would be a really nice fit alongside some of the medical plans you're selling. So what we offer, I want to start with that. The biggest thing, our true strength is engagement. And what I mean by that is we get people to use Healthiest You, and that is our entire focus. So everything you see about the presentation today, our pricing, multiple things, it all comes back to keeping Healthiest You top of mind for the employee so that they use the service. Traditional utilization in telehealth, pretty low, right? The average nationally is about 2%. So you think of that as I had a 100 life group, just employees, right? Include their spouse and dependents, and throughout the year, 2 people will call rather than go in. And that's what we wanted to change, understanding that, telehealth can be a huge differentiator for the group as far as saving them money, keeping the employees at work, right? Saving the employees money, but you have to get people to use it. So that's why, again, engagement is our true focus. So what we provide, of course, the big one is the physician access. Physicians available 24/7, 365. And that's pretty much throughout the country. The only 2 states we don't offer it in is Arkansas and Idaho, which I don't think that'll come into play for anybody unless someone's traveling, but just so you're all aware. On top of that, we have a wellness platform that's web-based. Great program designed by Dr. Kelly Traver, really well known in the wellness space, but it's also a nice engagement piece so that when you have someone that isn't sick, right, and they're feeling great, Healthiest You still stays top of mind. And then lastly, we have a prescription drug pricing engine. The big one there is it makes cash prices for prescription drugs transparent and will beat the average copay 7 out of 10 times. So you see the big one here, we have engagement, but also we're going to keep the claims away from the plan. That's another goal of ours. And we're going to touch a little bit on our new smartphone app that's due for release on February 1st. I want to make sure you all are familiar with that as well. Anybody have questions on any of those so far before we dive in?
Yeah, this is Lon. Can you hear me?
Yep, sure can.
Okay, just out of the gate, I'm kind of echoing here. Hold on a second. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, that's better.
The question I have is when you talk about having a wellness component and the pharmacy component, and how do you make sure that there's coordination and their members are reaching out to their own company wellness vendors and their own PBMs? How do you make sure that there's not conflicting information or advice being given?
No, good question, Lon. I think I understood it. It's actually just a little bit, but any component or any part of the offering can be turned off. So if you have a group that has a wellness program in place and they'd rather this not conflict with the current offering, we'll just stop marketing as far as wellness goes. We can take it out of the fulfillment side, stop marketing in general to the admins and so on. Same with that prescription drug pricing engine. So if you feel it would be confusing for any reason, we could just shut that side off. So great question, but yeah, we can turn any part of it off to avoid any confusion within that area. Does that make sense?
Well, it does. I think the wellness side, there's value in having that linked in with LinkedIn, just so there's not consistency. But is there a way you could work with the existing PBM and know what their PBM deal is, what their program offers, or does it have to stand on its own?
It would have to stand on its own. Same thing for the wellness. It wouldn't be able to link in anything else. So, yeah, it really just comes down to a lot of groups like having it there as a second option, both the prescription drug engine as well as that wellness platform. More or less just in case someone doesn't like, for wellness example, maybe someone isn't that engaged in their current offering and they would like this one better. But yeah, so I guess to your point, it'd just be completely up to the group, and we would do whatever they feel is best. And we're completely, happy to do that because we can engage folks in other ways other than those programs as well.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, thanks for the question. So again, we already touched on this, but this is the big one, right? Member engagement's key. So we focus on marketing with the group admin, and we can provide custom marketing. So we kind of have our standard marketing pieces, but we'll go well above and beyond that, depending on what the group wants, right? Some groups like email communications. Some groups like break room posters. Some groups want something in like a break room or a restroom. So a lot of different ways to do it. And then we have an admin portal. It makes it really easy, turnkey, to make changes within your group. So if you have members add, members delete, as far as maybe like an employee being termed or an employee getting married or having a child, really, really simple to do it. And we're going to touch on claim redirection here in a moment. So this is why telehealth is important. Here, sorry, I've got some feedback here. Just a reminder, if everybody could put their phone on mute. I think we're getting a little feedback from somebody. Thanks for helping out there. So 70% of all visits can actually be safely and effectively handled over the phone. That's pretty powerful, right? You think about if we could take 70% of claims, right, transition them over to a telehealth provider like HealthiestYou, we're going to do the group a huge service as far as saving them money, keeping claims out of the plan. Now, telehealth's on the rise. I'm sure you've all seen this. The market's expected to double by 2016, and we're seeing it now. And I think it's a combination of things. You've got physician access getting harder and harder, right? And groups are finding a way to save money. I mean, they're only looking at rate increases on the fully insured side, right? So they need a way to kind of hedge that bet. Self-funded were a no-brainer. We'll get into why here shortly. On the bottom, you see these are the top 9 reasons we actually visit the emergency room in the U.S. So what's interesting is this is nearly identical to the top 9 things we treat for every day at HealthiestYou, according to our monthly reports. So, if you look at maybe pink eye, where someone's going to spend $400 on an ER visit versus calling us and it's $0, right? There's your savings. And up top, this is big. So in case someone isn't a believer, an 8,000 state patient study was done by the Journal of American Medical Association, right, comparing telehealth to an office visit, and they found that telehealth didn't have higher rates of misdiagnosis or treatment failure. So in other words, just as effective as going to see someone in person. Now, to our physician network, kind of, who they are. All of our physicians are licensed and reside here in the U.S. They're practicing. Large majority are emergency room physicians, but we've got a mix of pediatricians, right, primary care physicians, and so on. They're all board certified, follow NCQA credentialing. They're available by phone, which is right now our most popular type of consultation, but also like a webcam consult, pretty soon a FaceTime style consult, or they can simply just be emailed through a messaging system. And they can diagnose, prescribe, or simply just inform, just like a doctor can in an office. And we already touched on services available in all states but Idaho and Arkansas. And we do have the largest telehealth network in the country. So those 2,300 physicians available nationwide, that's the largest one out there. And how it works is pretty simple. So if I'm not feeling well, like I called for myself and kids multiple times, but call HealthiestYou, get in touch with a customer care line representative. They're simply there to confirm what state I'm in. They're also going to make sure that I've completed my electronic medical record. If I haven't, they can take care of that right over the phone. And then they'll schedule a call for the doctor to call me back. So on average, in 9 minutes, doctor calls me back from the time I spoke with the customer care line rep. 30% are returned in under 2 minutes. So extremely fast turnaround time compared to going into an office, right, like an urgent care, an emergency room, or waiting to try and get to your primary care, right, or like a pediatrician for your children and so on. So it's quick. And then the average consultation lasts about 10 minutes. And right now, about 60% of our calls result in a prescription. Because obviously we get a lot of folks with the virus that are calling in as well. So we just help them out as far as, what to do to handle symptoms and so on. But again, it's really, really straightforward. Any questions on physician access so far? All right, great. So I want to touch on our smartphone app. So again, this is due for release on February 1st, and I apologize the screen's a little small, but I'll talk you through it. The big one is, as far as engagement, there have been 2 challenges for, I think, the industry as a whole, but what we've seen, it's very difficult to market to a spouse and or dependents that have access to HealthiestYou, and it's also to catch somebody at their time of need has been a challenge, right? How do you get somebody that's at an urgent care or an emergency room or their doctor office to stop and remember that they can call HealthiestYou for $0, right? So what we've done is use smartphone technology to our advantage. And I don't know if you all are Starbucks drinkers, but I always like to use this example. So if you have the Starbucks smartphone app, you walk into a Starbucks, you get a push notification that says, hey, caramel macchiato is $1 off today. Thanks for coming in, right? So what we've done is used that GPS functionality with a smartphone, but we're tying it into healthcare. So if I'm a member of Healthiest You, I have this app on my smartphone, and maybe I've had it for a few months. I kind of forget about it, right? I'm sick. It's the middle of the night. I'm going to follow my usual routine where I'm going to find an urgent care or an emergency room. So let's say I go to an urgent care, right? I'm there for 2 minutes. I get a push notification from the app. Right here, it appears you're walking into an urgent care center for medical care. Your benefit includes 24/7 access to doctors for consultation and treatment with no copay. Okay, so I'm just being told that I can connect with the doctor for nothing. It doesn't cost me a dime, right? They simply touch connect with the doctor. They get in touch with us, and away we go. Okay, we've done the same thing on the pharmacy side. So if I walk into a pharmacy and I'm there for 2 minutes, I get a reminder letting me know that I have access to a prescription drug pricing engine that beats the average copay, right? 7 out of 10 times. And I click this button to check prices around me, and it jumps me into our prescription drug pricing engine right through the app. So the big one here is, again, we're engaging people at their time of need. We understand that, maybe that person won't stop what they're doing, right, and call us, but we're confident they're going to think about us the next time they're not feeling well. So we're going to help change that behavior. And that's a big one. If you can get folks to call one time, which is our goal, we know they're very likely to call again. So everything about, again, is engaging them and getting them to do just that. And there's some other unique things in that you can actually schedule appointments with doctors in your network, with dentists in your network, with eye doctors in your network right through the app. So we're going to ask for your plan ID, your group number, so that when you need to go see somebody in person, maybe we can't handle it over the phone, right? You can actually schedule that appointment right through our smartphone app. You're probably noticing a trend here, but the big one is we want the member, right, to think Healthiest You all the time. Even if they're not going to be going to making a call with us, they're still thinking Healthiest You, and that's the goal of the app. So again, that'll be live. We're shooting for February 1st. We got delayed a little bit by the App Store, so our goal is February 1. Does anybody have any questions on the app?
I don't have a question on if you can still hear me, but back to the physician access question, please. And my only reference point is here on their Now clinic. It's my understanding that different states have different regulations about what's required. Can you do a phone? Do you have to have video? Can you clarify anything that you're
Yeah, I think I understand the question. So basically, what states are saying you have to maybe see a physician in person to get a prescription and so on? Is that right?
Well, when they create their nation map and then they kind of color code. If you have an employer that's multi-state, that if you're in Pennsylvania, there's requirements on how you can engage with a telehealth provider. And that was my understanding. Some state might require that you have web access, as an example. Others you can do a phone. That's what I was from that.
Okay, I understand, Lon. Sorry, you're cutting out a little bit, but I've got you. So yeah, to Lon's point, there are, and I'll share with everybody the map. I don't have it in front of me now, but there are 3 states in the country, and this is kind of odd, but they don't allow like a webcam or FaceTime style consultation. I know that Texas is one that's a big one, but there are 3 right now, and I'll share that map with everybody too. But beyond that, the FaceTime style webcam is available throughout the rest of the country, of course, other than Arkansas and Idaho, and they all, other than Arkansas and Idaho, allow a phone call consultation. I know it's kind of odd where you'd think it'd be the other way around, but yeah, there are just a few thus far that are in that boat.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question.
The question that I have is regarding Android application. I mean, it sounds like you're doing this for iPhones. What's the status on Android?
We are Android and iPhone. Good question. Yeah, we're doing it for both Android and iPhone. So I think the only one we won't hit would be Windows Phone, but the others are in good shape.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, great question. Thanks for asking that. Any other questions?
Yeah,
Sure.
quick question here on, I like the notification if you walk into a pharmacy after 2 minutes. We have a lot of, the superstores, the Targets, Walmarts. So every time someone goes in to go shopping, will they get notified also Does that
Yeah, and I
automatically
think
pick them up?
it will if they're within range, but I guess the important thing to note is that push notification can be turned off, just like any notification. So I guess like my thought process would be, I don't mind that because they're going to be reminded they have the benefit a couple of times.
Yeah.
Then they can just jump in and turn that off through their settings, just like any other app. So yeah, it will notify them if they walk in, even if say they're going to a pharmacy to get a gallon of milk or something. But that can be shut off at any time. Good question. Thank you. Any other questions? All right, we'll jump into wellness. So, so our wellness platform. So again, this can be turned off. The really unique thing about this platform is it's completely web-based. It's all done virtually. So there's no, you don't do anything up front like a big biometric screening. It's all kind of done on your own. Whatever information you have, you can plug into the system and essentially focus on 9 areas. And they're all listed at the bottom, but maybe you want to lose some weight. Maybe you'd like to exercise more, quit smoking, reduce your stress, sleep better, right? Eat better, have better mood, and so on. So when you dive into it, Dr. Kelly Traver designed the platform. So what's interesting about Dr. Kelly, she wrote this book called The Healthiest You. It's a fascinating book. And essentially what they did was they took her research and developed an algorithm and then the web-based platform that now we now have. She's our chief medical officer now. She was the global medical director of Google. So the big thing is, she's well known. She really knows what she's doing. Fascinating lady. But she did 8 years of research on about 10,000 people, and then took those experiences, translated them into this wellness platform. So again, what's unique is that it's web-based. So you can access this through an iPhone app or just the web-based platform, which I think is the best. Basically, just jump online and get into it that way. I'll quickly go through this, but you have a virtual coach that will provide you a personalized weekly action plan. When you first jump in, it'll ask for biometrics. So, your weight, your height, are you allergic to anything? Do you have, do you ever break anything? Do you have bad knees, bad heart, whatever it might be? And then it's going to make this customized to you. So depending on, if you had a bad heart, for instance, but you want to lose weight, you won't be asked to run all the time, right? So it's a very, I'll say it doesn't look like a lot up front, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes. It's a very intelligent platform. Now, beyond the action plan, it's all about dripping relative content to the individual employee, right? So if they're working on sleeping better, we'll pass along some videos about the importance of sleep, how your brain's trainable, also some articles. So they're all quick reads, 1 to 2 paragraphs. It's all about just kind of educating them, keeping them informed. And then the individual can track progress as often as daily. What's interesting, again, about the program, the more you use it, it gets smarter with use. So the more information it gets, it's going to cater itself to the individual even better. There are social media tools embedded. So, if you have a segment of employees that are having trouble sleeping, or maybe a segment trying to quit smoking, or a segment exercising more, they can work together, share their stories, share what's working, which is great. And then there are also points in the system. So anything you do within the wellness platform earns you points. And they can just be there to gamify the experience, or the group administrator can use these points to incentivize the employees. Basically say if you hit a certain point threshold, we'll give you a gift card, for example. And that's completely up to the individual group. But again, it's a nice engagement piece for us as far as if someone is feeling great, right? But this can also be turned off if you have those groups that have a robust program in place and would rather not mix the message. So we're open to either one. And again, available through the website or also through our iPhone app. And that one is only available through iPhone at this time. Any questions on the wellness platform? Does that make sense to everybody?
Jesse, Lon, is that point for this well, if they wanted to use the incentive? I mean, it's where they can download reports on who qualifies and who's accumulated.
I think I heard you, Lon. So yeah, the report would come to the group administrator, and it's all HIPAA compliant. So basically, the group admin receives a report showing which employees have registered for the wellness platform, because it's optional, and then how many points each employee has earned in what area. So it doesn't dive into any specifics other than, they got this many points for watching videos, this many for reading, right? They got this many for logging their progress and so on. So yeah, that comes through monthly. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, great.
And the only question that I have is related to activity trackers. Does it link to things like Fitbits and other activity trackers?
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. It links to the Fitbit, and then it also links to the Withings scale. It's like a digital weight scale that can basically figure out your body fat percentage and some other things. So yeah, it links to both of those. That's a great question. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, I'm going to jump out of this and give you all a live demo of this prescription drug engine. Let's see here. Whoever's ready, can someone provide me just with a zip code in the area there?
54911.
All right, thank you. So the engine's real straightforward, and this is done through our smartphone app and even easier. You just simply enter in the drug you're looking for, and it uses your phone's location. But what we're going to do is shop for basically Lipitor in this zip code, and we're going to find the lowest cash price. So we're pulling every PBM negotiated rate. We're also pulling any in-house discounts there at the pharmacy itself. So, and again, we're just trying to find the lowest price. So the idea here is we want to, of course, save the members some money. We'd like to keep them out of the medical plan if we can, right? And here's what we're pulling up. So if there is a generic drug, this engine defaults to the generic. It's really this easy to use. So you see, if you're a Shopko member, right, you can get the generic version of Lipitor for $4. Okay. If you're not, Walmart offers it for $13.10. But what's interesting is the difference. We usually see this quite a bit, right? CVS $30.25 compared to Walmart at $13 or Shopko at $4. It's pretty shocking, I'd say, the difference in pricing from pharmacies that could essentially be across the street from one another. And this can be any prescription, so not necessarily a prescription that, you know, a telehealth physician will prescribe, right? It can be something in office, it can be a maintenance med, it can be anything. So what we say is it never hurts to shop it, to try and find a lower rate. And to Lon's point, if somebody has something like this already in place and they'd rather not confuse the message, we can turn this off, or they can keep it there as another option. So we're open to anything. And if it's a discount, we'll say Walmart, we need a coupon for it. Oops, forgive me, close that off. Simply click on Get Free Discount, and here's your discount drug card. So this is the information the pharmacy needs, and that's the cash price you pay. So it's that simple. You can print that off, email it to yourself, or text it to your phone, and save the folks some money. So again, this beats the average copay 7 out of 10 times. That's the most important thing to remember. It's just a chance to save the employees some money and keep it out of the plan.
Two questions on this then.
Sure.
So this is going to look at just like national companies, correct? It's not really going to look at anything like a local pharmacy, right?
I will say it won't catch all if you have maybe a mom and pop. It'll catch the very large majority.
Okay.
And I don't know, I mean, we could search your zip code to see what comes up. And if you all want to check this out ever, this is the website. So it's accessible right through our member portal. You don't even need to log into it. But if you ever want to just check out prices, it's just healthiestyourx.com. So feel free to research a little bit, see what comes up, see if the local pharmacies populate. I'm not sure because in Arizona we just don't have much in the way of local pharmacies. It's pretty much all chains like the CVS, the Walgreens, and so on. But absolutely give it a shot. I'd be happy for you to check that out and see what you find, and then pass along any questions you might have.
Okay. Then the other question I have is in regards to the coupon that you have, that where it says Get Free Discount. I know UHC was in here, gosh, I think a year or two ago, and they had said that they were, they were not allowing coupons to be used anymore, certain coupons, like the manufacturer's coupons. Does this take that into account where, like on a self-funded plan, the person could be responsible for the entire charge if they used a coupon that wasn't allowed?
No, good question. I have yet to run into anything that wasn't allowed, other than I know I can't remember which pharmacies. There are a couple that won't allow, say, a coupon for like a painkiller or something along those lines, right? But beyond that, I haven't heard of anything regarding coupons not being used. And also, these aren't really coupons from the drug companies themselves. These are more along the lines of coupons from the pharmacies or the pharmacy benefit manager contracted rate. So I don't think this would pull, like if there was a discount on Lipitor, I don't think it would pull that discount. And is that what UHC was referring to, like the actual drug companies discounted?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. There was something in regards, I don't know if Jill or Kenton remember, because it was when that there was a pharmacist in the office, and he was retired, but he works for UHC now, and he had said something about they were talking about the coupons that, you know, you can, I'm not remembering this very well because it was, like I said, a couple of years ago. But
Sure,
yeah,
yeah.
it was where you get a deep discount. You know, where you see the coupons that they talk about, I think on the commercials actually are the ones that bring them up. So
Okay.
I am guessing it's probably direct from the drug manufacturer.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm not familiar with any issues as far as what we pull, other than those painkillers sometimes, depending where you are. But I'll check it out. I'll do a little more research on that and let everybody know. That's interesting.
You're correct. Is that correct, Emily? You know, UHC has their own PBM formulary, so if the manufacturer is incentive to purchase a drug that's in a higher tier, that it you know, it's kind of counterproductive. Them. The members say that the spend is higher, if that makes any sense.
You know, I'm sorry, Lon, the phone's cutting in and out on you. I couldn't make out much of that.
All right, yeah, maybe I'll dial back on the phone. I'm working off the laptop.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just catching bits and pieces there. But if you want, feel free to shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to
Yeah.
check out your question there.
Okay.
All right, so I want to share some survey results, more or less just because, you know, there are a few that are important. This is really the big one here. 97% of HealthiestYou members will use the service again. So knowing that, and I mentioned this before, but our goal is to make someone call the first time, right? Just get them to call once. And we do that in a number of ways. Engagement's big, but the other one is we don't charge consultation fees. So there's just we're going to get into pricing, but there's a per employee, per month price, right? So a PEPM rate that includes the employee, spouse, and dependents, all right? Unlimited use. And 98% or so of our plans are 100% employer paid, right? So when the employee looks at their options, okay, so they're not feeling well or they have a sick child, right? And they say, okay, I can look at a $40 copay and have to leave my house or leave work to go in, or I can just call right now. I get a call back on average in 9 minutes, and it doesn't cost me anything, right? There's no risk to call. Why not call, right? So that's our goal, is we want to get them to look at that, change behavior, start calling us whenever it's not an emergency. Basically, we're the front line of defense. And that's how we market it. I mean, to that point, 93% of our consultations result in someone not having to, result in no further action needed. So the real large majority of our consultations are essentially one-call resolution, where they're not having to call back, not having to go to a doctor, etc. And this is a big one too, and we're going to touch on this because we have some self-funded clients that have seen some tremendous results. But half of our telephone consultations result in an employee not having to leave work for care. So we're having a really positive impact on reducing those PTO hours paid out, as well as increasing their productivity. And we'll touch on that with a self-funded case study here shortly. And then the big one here, people love it, right? So 95% would recommend HealthiestYou, and we see that from year to year. Utilization jumps on average about 10% with our in-force clients. And word is traveling, you know, word of mouth throughout the office as well. And we already touched on this, but utilization's big. So we are about 20 times higher than the average, okay? So this was our annual utilization average in 2013. We were waiting on 2014 numbers, and we know they're going to be actually higher than that. So we're blowing away the industry average. That's the big one. If someone's shopping just for price, we probably won't be the right fit, right? I mean, if they're literally all they're looking at is, oh, here's the PEPM, boy, they're a lot higher, we won't be right for them. If they're serious about redirecting those claims and having an actual impact on their claims, then we're going to be the great fit, because we're going to be on their side as far as getting that word out and helping them save a lot of money. And people ask me, well, okay, how are you getting that engagement, right? How is it so much higher? There isn't just one thing, right? If there was, everybody would be doing it, but we've got a number of things. So we've got that app, of course, which you think is going to boost utilization tremendously, right? We've read utilization reports. Whenever someone wants one, we'll throw one together for them. We have a team here whose sole purpose is to get everybody to use HealthiestYou. So I mentioned that earlier. They'll work with the group administrator, create custom marketing pieces, make sure the employees remember HealthiestYou, that it stays top of mind. And along with others, we have a nice member fulfillment kit as well as an admin kit that'll come in the mail. Just great ways, again, to keep folks engaged with HealthiestYou. So it's a lot of different things. It's how we're getting that number. But we are the only company I know of in this industry that wants utilization, right? Everybody else generally has a really low per employee per month rate, no marketing whatsoever. Once a year they may send out like a flyer, or they have a low PEPM rate with a consultation fee, or there's an embedded product with a consultation fee that just teases about nothing. I mean, it's under that 2% utilization rate. So that is the difference, is we get people to use it. So if any of you are in the self-funded space, this is where our product will sing, right here. This is an actual client of ours in Ohio, and luckily for us, the gentleman that works there is an actuary. So he pulled this data after their first year with Healthiest You. So what's unique about this case is they had our largest competitor for 2 years before bringing us on. And it's that, I'm not bashing it, but it's the low utilization model, more like a checkbox benefit. It kind of gets buried away in the plan. So they brought Healthiest You in and made us the front line, okay? And this is how we want it to be in every plan, is call us first. If we can't handle it, then go ahead and hit major medical, right? But as you see here, huge results, right? The number of people that filed a claim dropped over 36%. Claims dropped 39%. Payments dropped over 37%. So this is the big one. They saved over $30,000 in claims from the previous year. And that's why all the company's growing, right? They're hiring. So they increased their employees on the medical plan by 22%. Our product truly sings. I mean, if you have any self-funded client, we can take that self-funded client, hit about 20% utilization, and they're already making money on their investment with Healthiest You. It's an absolute no-brainer in that space. We're just flat out going to save them money. I think the average groups I usually work with, as far as working with our brokers to sell it to self-funded clients, I think the average office visit cost usually runs around $200, and I'm not sure where it would be up in your area, maybe similar, maybe not, but it just doesn't take a lot of usage for them to see the savings. So it's great there. And I mentioned earlier, the reduced absenteeism side, 2.2 fewer PTO days per employee for this group. So we will have an impact on absenteeism. When someone can, I use my example a lot. I mean, my kids' team always get sick at night. 3 times I've had a call at night. I get a call back from the doctor that night. I give the prescription that night. The next day, I can go to work, they can go to school, and so on. That's awesome, compared to having to try and find an urgent care or make them be uncomfortable all night and wait to try to get to a pediatrician the next day. Boy, it's fantastic. People love that. I know I do. I mean, I'm never gonna go to the doctor again unless I absolutely have to. I'll put it that way. But it helps a lot. Now, if you're in the fully insured space, I don't know if the All Savers product comes in there, but we've been embedded in the All Savers plan with United Healthcare. So if anybody sells that, we're already in that plan, so that's great. But now, if you sell us in a standalone in a fully insured space, we can really help you out as far as the benefit plan design is concerned. Now, to imagine, and someone can interrupt me if I'm wrong, but it seems that the biggest challenge right now in this space is you coming into renewal time and there's a pretty substantial rate increase, facing you, that you have to, head into this employer group and communicate that you're looking at maybe like a, 15 or 20% rate increase. So this is where Healthiest You can help you out tremendously. We know that we can handle, right, 70% of needs over the phone. So let's design a plan around that, right? Traditionally speaking, right, Major Med is what the plan's built around. Well, now that you have telehealth access, we can totally change that. So if we can handle 70%, you put us up front, right? What that means to you is now you have the ability to raise the copay, raise the deductible. You can trim the plan up a little bit. That's going to save the employer group money, okay? Now you take that savings, that more than pays for Healthiest You, and then it also allows you to sell some other products, and not throwaway benefits, right? But you're jumping into maybe the gap plan, the critical care, the cancer, some ancillary products. You're all the experts there, but what it can help you do essentially is you keep your clients because you're saving them a lot of money. You can make more commission because now you're able to sell more products, right? So it's just all in the plan design. Our top producers are doing this all day long in the full insured space, and they're absolutely crushing it. Because if you're a traditional broker coming in saying, here's your renewal, it's 15%, and just wait for them to say yes or no, you're going to start getting beat up pretty badly, especially coming into next year. We're going to allow you to keep those clients and get some new clients as well, because there aren't many brokers that are doing this right now, right? So you have such an advantage if you can change that plan design, save that group some money. So it's a rare win in that the employees love having Healthiest You. When they're told physicians are waiting on them rather than the other way around, they're ecstatic. So they don't mind that the copay went up a little, that the deductible went up, because now they have what they need over the phone. Now the employer group's happy, right? Because you've just saved them money. So you're going to look like an absolute hero. And you're happy because you've held onto the group, hopefully made some more commission by selling some other products. So it's a really rare win-win-win in the industry. Does anybody have any questions on the plan design or the self-funded case study?
Yeah, I do. This is John Rubat from Willis in Milwaukee. I got a couple questions. Your competition, is it like Teladoc or
Yeah, I'd say right now, John, good question. Teladoc would be the big one. They're
Okay.
they've been around it, doing it longer, but they have the different model, right? It's the kind of
Yeah.
that lower utilization model. But yeah, that's a very fair statement.
Now, how do you integrate with the health plan, or don't you? From a comment that you made, Jesse, it sounds like a client may buy your service and then just offer it to their employees, and the employees utilize the service and obviously reduce cost on the health plan, especially if it's self-funded.
Mm-hmm.
Is that usually what happens?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we don't want the plan, right, to have any of the information. Now, keep in mind the big one is we handle acute illnesses, right? So if somebody needs a painkiller or something major happens, we're not going to be able to take care of that.
Right.
Still share the information with an employee's primary care physician, but yeah, the idea is we want it out of the plan completely, right? We don't want the plan to see anything that comes our way because it's only going to help them save some money, keep the claim out, hopefully save on renewals and so on.
In one area with Teladoc, what we did was that if the subscriber at our client goes to the doctor, it's like a $30 copay. If they use Teladoc, it's only $10. And
okay.
So that's the way we set it up there. And I'll be honest with you, the utilization isn't what I'd like it to be. So it sounds like your utilization, and then you've kind of explained why that is higher. So now comes the critical issue that vendors don't like to talk about at all. Is what's the cost? How much is your product per employee per month?
Oh yeah, here I'm getting to it right now, so I'm glad you guys. So this is the cost.
Oh, right.
Now, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. You let me right in, John. Thanks.
Oh, here it is.
So here's the big one. These
prices,
that's it. This is everything. This has every part of the product, unlimited consultations. This includes the employee, spouse, and dependents. All right. So the big thing is no hidden fees. I don't know if Teladoc still does it. I know they used to charge for like flyers and things like that. We don't charge anything. We just want people to use it. Our rates used to be a lot higher. We brought them down because, unfortunately, right now in our industry, price is what people generally look at. But we can definitely verify why our price is higher based on utilization. I mean, you give me any self-funded client, show me their claims, and I'll show you why, even us at a higher rate, we're going to blow away anybody else just because we get people to use it, right? To your point, right? Utilization is the key. And the blue circles, that represents an employer-paid plan. So if the employer is paying for 100% or any portion of our PEPM rate, we give the employer-paid rate, right? If the employee is paying for 100%, then it's going to hit the voluntary rates on the bottom. That's pretty rare. I mean, a lot of groups right now, they're obviously just paying for it because it just makes sense. But some folks will do it where if you're on the medical plan, they pay for it. If you're not, they can offer it to the other employees on a voluntary basis, like a payroll deduction, just like any other kind of, supplemental benefit. So, but yeah, and again, I can almost guarantee we're going to be the highest price every time, but that's because people use it. We always say prices in the utilization. We're not going to cancel somebody out if they hit 20%. That's pretty common in our industry. If we hit 10% or there's a utilization cap of like 7% and then the price goes up. So the rates you see have utilization built in. We guarantee these rates for a year. So even if somebody's hitting like 200% utilization, their price won't change. At the end of the year, we'll look at possibly having to, raise the rate a little bit. Now, if we have to do that, that is the best possible result for us because that means we're doing our job and people are using it. So again, there's nothing hidden. So this is for 1 year. This is the rate.
Thanks.
And again, perfect. Yeah, no, I'm glad you let us in, but I just want everybody to know that if somebody's shopping on price, if they're just looking at price, we can justify these rates. We just have to talk them through it a little bit because this is new to a lot of people. I think right now employer groups throughout the country, about half are offering some sort of telehealth, be it embedded in the plan, be it standalone, voluntary, employer paid, whatever it might be. That's going to grow, right? So it's just a matter of educating. And that's what we do too. So I guess what's kind of unique to us is when you have employer groups that, hey, I'm interested in that, right? We'll help you present. So we'll set up a webinar. I'll jump on a call with you. We'll walk them through health issue, answer their questions, find out what they think will make it successful. Are they worried about utilization? Are they worried about access to the physicians? Whatever it might be, and we'll make sure we key in on it so that they understand everything. So basically, as you're talking to clients about us, think of me as an extension of your team. Our only job here is to help. Again, we do not sell this directly. It's only sold through insurance brokers and consultants. So you just have to let us know what we can do to give you a hand there, and we'll do that. Does anybody have any questions on the pricing?
It just, again, am I still echoing?
Yeah, just a little bit, Lon, but go ahead. You're coming through a little better.
Okay, let me, it just goes back to qualified high deductible health plans and the ability to offer telehealth. And if you're charging on a PEPM where there's no charge per service and the employer is paying for the fee, what's your position on keeping that qualified for HSA plans?
Yeah, that's a good question. So here's what's interesting about HSAs or any HDHP plan. Telehealth has never even been mentioned in it, and that's only because those essential laws were written well before telehealth was available. Now, we've had a lot of different people look at health use, or for that matter, telehealth in general, and how it works with, say, an HSA plan or an HDHP plan. Now, according to, well, I'll start first, United Healthcare, their attorneys, they don't see a problem with it. But I'm going to tell you, it's completely based on opinion because the laws are so vague. Some of the verbiage in the laws basically state that you can provide medical care or medical treatment. There's just some weird verbiage. So according to our team of attorneys, right, their opinion is it's okay. But there are others out there that they're like, well, I don't think so. So we pretty much leave this up to either you all or the company, and leave it to you as far as how you want to do it. We can add in consultation fees so that there is essentially, like a fair market value at the time of need and so on. We don't ever want to, though, because it definitely inhibits utilization. So I guess the best way I can say it is there isn't a right or wrong answer. We're open to doing whatever we can do to make sure it works within the type of plans you're selling. And we don't see a problem again, but that doesn't mean much because it's really up to everybody because no one has a right answer. Unfortunately, it's just too vague, and I don't think the government's in any hurry right now based on everything else going on to take a hard look at that right at this time. Does that make sense, Lon?
Yeah, no, it's very great. So just wanted to know I just want to hear your opinion.
Yeah, no, it's a good question, and it always sucks that I don't have an answer. It's pretty much up to everybody, right? But thanks for bringing that up. That's a great question.
Yeah.
Enrollment for their product is extremely simple since there's no underwriting involved, right? It doesn't matter if someone has a pre-existing condition or it doesn't matter how old or young they are. It's just a group application, how they'd like to pay for it, and then a group census, which we have those files readily available. I want to give you all a quick high level of our partner portal because I know we're coming up on time here. Before I do that, does anybody have any questions on anything we've covered thus far?
I have one. I just, you can wrap it up at the end. What's kind of your client profile today? Size, industry, what's your typical client today?
Yeah, good question, Lon. So it's pretty interesting. We have groups as small as 2 up to right now over 15,000. So we're literally in every space. It's very flexible. So really anywhere, I guess, is the easy answer. The only time I've seen this where maybe we're not a great fit would be municipalities that have the most extremely rich benefit plans. Like I've seen one the other day that had like a $300 annual deductible. It's crazy. But boy, we're everywhere. I think our average group size right now is about 50 to 55. But again, we're all over the place. We're with associations. We do have municipalities, a lot of government entities, school districts, and then of course just businesses in general. A lot of employer-paid businesses, be it fully insured, self-funded, all types, right? White collar, blue collar, drivers, and so on. So we're pretty much everywhere.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks for the question. All right, so real quick before we wrap things up, this is our partner portal. So this is free to everybody. This really helps us really as far as knowing what business is going out, helps us as following up with folks that are sending out proposals and so on. What this is really think of it as a tool you can use to make sharing HealthiestYou with your clients easy, and it looks really, really good. And it's fast. So you can create custom proposals through this. I'll just show you a quick example. And really what they do is provide a nice high-level overview of what HealthiestYou is. They're all marketed to you. We have a 4-minute intro video embedded. You know, the cost is embedded. And then as you move on down, you can find, okay, how does it work? What are some of the real-world results? What's the cost of not having it if I'm a self-funded client? And then screenshots of the member experience. It's a great door opener. We have brokers that use this as a prospecting tool, you know, so if they've kind of been working a lead and they just want a reason to, you know, get in the door again, show them something new. HealthiestYou is an awesome way to do that. We have some folks here actually locally that have been leading with us, and they've already landed a 1,500 life group, a 150 life group. They've got a couple of meetings in with some other big clients. So it's just a great differentiator. I mean, if you lead in with, hey, I have a tool here that can really help you save some money on your plan or reduce your claims, you're not going to get too many no's. And it's not like you're lying to them. You do have a tool, and it's a great way to differentiate yourself out there. You also have some email marketing embedded. So if you wanted to send somebody really just an intro, you send them this introduction to HealthiestYou. Again, this is marketed to you. It's a nice high-level overview, videos embedded. When they click on Find Out More here, or Learn More, it's going to send them to what's called your landing page. So we build a couple of websites for you. This one is marketed again to yourself. A great high-level overview of what HealthiestYou is, all the information's here, everything they want to know. And then they click on Request a Quote. That gives you an email saying they'd like to get a quote from you, and you follow up with a proposal, and away you go. So it just starts that sales cycle for you. And then lastly, if you have those self-funded clients, this is an awesome one. It's probably one of my favorites. We have a return on investment calculator embedded. And that's why I mentioned if you have claims data, I'll show you how we can save them money every time. But basically, you build an ROI analysis right through here. I'll show you a quick example, but you can take their existing plan, right? So we'll know what the co-pays are. These are really low, but it's just an example purpose. But you put the number of employees in, right? Number of visits annually, and then we break it down by, okay, what do we think our utilization will be? Co-pays, we'll get the doctor office, urgent care, ER. We'll figure out what we think the utilization percentage will be, and then the claim redirection percentage, and we'll show them their savings. So it's really easy to use, and we'll make sure, you know, we keep it really conservative. We don't ever overdo it. Well, it paints a nice picture of, you know, where we're going to fit within the plan. So that's why I say keep us in mind. And when you all register for the partner portal, I can help you out. So once you're there, I can build a proposal if you're too busy. I can create an ROI report. I love doing that. Lon and I have done one together. Really, really easy to use, and definitely, you know, let me know how I can help you out until you're comfortable with it.